The Chargers have signed Ben Mason, and this dude, you probably don't know who he is, but we're going to get to know him in this video, and you're going to see why he is the perfect signing for the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh and Joe Hortiz. It's just like a match made in heaven. So make sure to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this content. It helps me out so much. And let's start off with his college career, because this dude went to Michigan with Jim Harbaugh. So there's that first connection right there. And he played fullback in his very first season as a freshman. He actually played in 5 games and was able to get 2 touchdowns on only 3 rushing attempts. So obviously a fullback, you just hand the ball off to him in a very short yardage situation. He was able to get a touchdown on 2 out of 3 attempts. And keep in mind, that's his freshman season as an 18-year-old going up against these big guys that are really, you know, fully developed, much bigger than him, much older than him at a big time school like Michigan. And in his freshman year, he was just primarily a run blocker. But then in 2018, he played in 13 games and had 33 rushing attempts with 7 touchdowns and even caught a pass for 15 yards. So keep that in mind for later. And then he improved his run blocking grade in that 2018 season by a lot. And he was the main go-to guy for Michigan when they were in a short yardage situation, like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and inches, or on the goal line to go. You're at the 1-yard line. They handed the ball off to Ben Mason because that dude is a dog. Look at this man. You can see the mohawk, or is that like a faux hawk? I don't know exactly what it is, but this dude looks like he eats nails for breakfast. This is a Jim Harbaugh dude. This is a Ben Herbert weight room, locker room kind of guy. That is one of the main reasons why they signed him. But let's move on to 2019, because in 2019, he played 62 snaps on the defensive line, where he actually graded out better than he did on offense that year, at least by PFF, because, oh yeah, he was also playing tight end in that season in 2019. He had 71 snaps, and 54 of those were in run blocking. So this is a very run block heavy kind of guy. I mean, now we're starting to feel what this guy is like. He's a hard-nosed hitter, and he's freaking 6'3", 265 pounds. They put this man on the defensive line, and he's playing fullback and tight end. He's got that positional versatility that we're going to be talking about later on. Ben Mason in 2020 switched to play tight end full-time at Michigan. Obviously, that season was cut short, but he was later on drafted by John Harbaugh and the Ravens in the 5th round. He's been a guy that's kind of been going around the league, and he's never really had a chance to play in an actual meaningful NFL game. He's played a lot in the preseason, but didn't really get on the field much with the Ravens. I think he spent some time with the Patriots and some other teams, and then this past season, the Ravens brought him back. He only has 1 career snap in an NFL regular season game, but that doesn't mean that he does not have potential, because he is going to be 25 years old by the time the season starts. This is a very versatile player. I mean, they freaking played him on the defensive line. When I was thinking, well, the first man that I thought of when I saw this signing and I was researching him and looking him up and, you know, seeing what kind of play style he has, I thought of Tukuafu. And that is a defensive lineman slash fullback that Jim Harbaugh had with the 49ers. And I think he also played for the Seahawks. And now he's actually one of the coaches on Jim Harbaugh's staff. So maybe Tukuafu might have had a little bit something to say about this, or maybe Jim Harbaugh is thinking, this guy reminds me of Tukuafu. I just think it's a really nice coincidence, is it, to have somebody like that on the coaching staff, and now you go out and sign somebody like that from Michigan. He's got that Jim Harbaugh connection, obviously has the Joe Hortiz connection with the Ravens, but also this goes to show what this offense is really going to look like, because this is a very low money signing, again, like we've been seeing in free agency. And that's part of the reason why I just don't think the Chargers are actually going to sign Tyler Boyd. They're doing this low money approach with the possibly high value players like Ben Mason. And since he's playing tight end slash fullback, because that's what the Chargers team officially announced him as, a tight end slash fullback, he's going to be playing that role that Greg Roman had for Patrick Ricard with the Ravens as well, because we've seen multiple times now. I just told you with Jim Harbaugh, he did the same thing with the 49ers with Tukuafu, who's now on the coaching staff, and then Greg Roman has done the same thing tight end slash fullback, positional flexibility, that little combo. Patrick Ricard did that same thing. And Ben Mason, he can catch the ball. That's why they moved him to tight end. I think just because he hasn't caught the ball a lot at Michigan doesn't mean that he can't do it. If they didn't see his ability to catch the ball in practice, they wouldn't have moved him from fullback to tight end. I think what Ben Mason can bring is just the mentality over everything. This dude plays hard. He is a nasty hitter, and I love this signing, if anything, just for the culture of this team, because this is a tough freaking football player, and that is exactly what they want. Again, these low money signings with younger players, 25 years old, and they can possibly bring you high value. I mean, Ben Mason, also, this is the perfect landing spot for him. Going back to Jim Harbaugh, going back with Ben Herbert. I mean, you could not have had a better possible landing spot if you're Ben Mason, if you want to continue your NFL career. And this really goes to show also what they are going to do on offense. This is now the third tight end that they have signed. It's been Will Dissly, Hayden Hurst, and now Ben Mason. They're going to be playing with a lot of tight ends. I said it in my video about Tyler Boyd that I just made, but do they value a wide receiver 3 like that highly enough to pay Tyler Boyd $8 million? Like, yeah, I know they're interested. That's been reported. We know that. But I cannot see them spending that money when they value the tight end position so highly, because they have those 2 to 3 tight end sets that we're going to be seeing a ton with Jim Harbaugh and with Greg Roman. Ben Mason has been in that Jim Harbaugh offense, and so what we're going to be seeing is him lined up at fullback, probably Hayden Hurst and Will Dissly lined up at tight end, and then in the backfield, guy like Gus Edwards, a guy like we're going to be drafting here pretty soon. Maybe like, I don't know, Marshawn Lloyd, Trey Benson, could even be someone like Jonathan Brooks if we draft a running back highly. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, because with the moves that they've been making in free agency, man, they are really placing a lot of value and emphasis on the running game and getting tougher, getting bigger, getting more physical. And Ben Mason, he's athletic as well. I mean, this isn't a guy who's not athletic. He can absolutely run. He can catch. He's versatile. I just love this signing. It's, again, a very low money signing. It's probably going to be looked at as like a low impact signing, but I think this one could really, really just turn up roses. So to recap what we're getting here, this is a guy who's going to be playing that Will Tukuafu / Patrick Ricard role in that Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh offense. We've seen that role before. Ben Mason is going to be playing that. Maybe even on defensive line as well. But he is also going to be a culture setter, a tone setter. They've been talking about getting more physical, getting tougher, getting bigger, getting more athletic. I think Ben Mason brings every single one of those aspects. And listen, this is a dude. I mean, just look at him. This is a guy that you want to have him walking off the bus, the very first man walking off the bus, in order to intimidate the other team. Does anybody else remember those tactics that we would do in like high school football? This is the first man off the bus. And if you did not see my video about Tyler Boyd, Chargers are interested in Tyler Boyd. I don't really want them to sign him, but here's everything you need to know.